You ever watch a horror movie and think, how did they mess this up this badly? Well, that was me about 20 minutes into Wake Up.
We are all animals. And you're in my hunting ground.
There will be blood.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So Wake Up is the latest slasher from the creative team behind Summer of '84 and Turbo Kid, two movies I really liked. I was genuinely looking forward to this one because the concept sounded awesome. A group of activists trapped in a huge outlet store with a deranged security guard hunting them down. That's a killer setup, pun absolutely intended, but sadly this thing just doesn't deliver. At all. And considering how much I liked their previous work, that made the disappointment hit even harder. Before we dive into the plot, if you're enjoying the content, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. And if you want to go the extra mile, I've got a Patreon where you can support the channel for just $1 a month. $5 a month if you want to request a review. The link's in the description below. Alright, let's get into what Wake Up is actually about. The plot follows a group of young environmental activists who break into a furniture outlet store overnight to vandalize the place and protest deforestation and animal abuse. They're planning to live stream it, cause a stir, and vanish before security catches on. But things quickly go sideways when it turns out one of the guards is a full-on survivalist lunatic who turns the store into his own personal hunting ground. What starts as an act of activism turns into a fight for survival as he picks them off one by one. Let's start with the good, because there is some. The core concept is genuinely solid. A giant outlet store as a slasher playground? That's pretty fun. And the idea of a Rambo-style maniac hunting people with traps and DIY weapons, that could have worked with the right tone and execution. Visually, the film has some strong moments. The activists wear different animal masks during the break-in, and it gives the movie a stylized, surreal edge. There's also a cool sequence where they're being hunted in complete darkness, and they're covered in fluorescent paint. It's very art project meets horror, and for a moment it feels like the film is about to get wild in a good way. But unfortunately, that's about where the positives end. The biggest issue is that the characters are just plain awful. Not in a fun slasher fodder kind of way, but in a why am I supposed to care about any of you kind of way. They have zero chemistry, we don't really get to know them, and none of them are likable or even interesting. A horror movie doesn't need lovable characters, but they should at least be memorable or compelling in some way, or get taken out in creative, gnarly ways. But here, it's all just bland. And worse, they're dumb. They spend the first half of the film vandalizing the store while wearing their animal masks, but then later they just casually take them off and sit around chatting, while still inside the store with security nearby. It's one of those movies where you're constantly yelling at the screen, and not in a good way. Now let's talk about the killer. This should have been a major win. A homemade weapon-wielding psycho, basically a dollar store Rambo, but he's just not threatening. Performance is cringy in all the wrong ways. The dialogue is bad, and we're giving nothing about why he's like this. No backstory, no depth. Just angry hunting man yelling weird things and setting weak traps. He feels like a half-baked idea that never got refined. And the kills? For a movie with this kind of premise, they're shockingly tame. Most of the violence happens off-screen, and what we do see is basic stuff. Spears to the chest, quick stabbings, neck snaps. There's barely any gore, which would be forgivable if the kills were at least inventive or intense, but they're not. It's just flat and forgettable. The pacing doesn't help either. The runtime is short, barely over 75 minutes without credits, but it still drags like crazy. By the halfway point, I was mentally checked out. The movie has no momentum, no tension, and no real stakes. I found myself grabbing my phone and barely paying attention. So yeah, Wake Up is a huge letdown. A great concept, some cool visuals, and a solid setting totally wasted on weak characters, a lame villain, and underwhelming kills. If you're a fan of Summer of '84 or Turbo Kid, this one might sting a little. I'm giving Wake Up a 1.5 out of 5. If you liked the review, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And again, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Patreon. It's just $1 a month to chip in, or $5 if you want to personally request a review. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.